Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my WWE NXT review for May 31st, 2017. Starting to make leeway on these NXT reviews. And in this episode, the only thing I know ahead of time is that Bobby Roode is going to have a championship celebration. Which is kind of weird because it seems like he has one of these every time he has an NXT championship title defense, so it's kind of weird. But I expect something good out of that, just because Bobby Roode's a great heel and he's great on the mic, and I expect probably his next feud to get launched off on this during that championship celebration. Don't know who that feud would be. I expect it to be like another filler opponent kind of until we get to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, but we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, looking forward to that. So it kind of feels unbelievable that he's NXT champion. It's like, because he was in TNA for so long, and he was like the original of TNA, it's kind of weird that he's the NXT champion. Maybe it's because too of who the world champions are on the main roster. Maybe it's kind of unbelievable too that we actually have a credible champion in NXT. The champion for Raw at least is a credible champion, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, so we're going to have to wait and see. They're going to be back in Full Sail University. First time they've been back because they were in Chicago for the previous episode. So going to be interesting to see what they do. Okay, so we had the actual show itself. We had the commentary team of Percy Watson, Tom Phillips, and Nigel McGuinness. And before the show starts, they have a brand new intro video package, new theme song. It's not like the exact completely new package, but they have some new superstars in there. So I think that's actually pretty cool. I like the new video package, and I like the new theme song of NXT. It's kind of weird though that they just had a new theme song and they just changed it again. Maybe the first one didn't work. I don't know, but it's kind of weird that they just changed the theme song really randomly. But we get the show, and immediately Tommaso Ciampa comes out and he cuts a promo. And he's on crutches because of his knee injury. And he actually just shows up. He doesn't, no theme song plays for him. They don't even announce him. He just was there, which I like that. It actually gave him, I don't think anyone expected to see him. So he comes out and he explains why he turned his back on Johnny Gargano. And he talks about how he asks anybody if he's ever felt like that he was replaced, if they've ever felt that anybody was replaceable, because he talks about how the Thursday before NXT TakeOver Chicago, he suffered a knee injury just before the NXT Tag Team title ladder match. Because before that, he talks about how he's been wrestling for 32 years, and he's learned a lot these past 2 weeks. But yeah, so he talks about how he got injured, and everybody was questioning whether or not he was going to be able to compete at NXT TakeOver Chicago. And but he says that he knew all along what the answers were. He knew that because he knows that no matter what, they go out there and they fight. They go out there and they work their ass off to wrestle. But people were questioning if he was going to be able to compete, what was going to happen with the NXT Tag Team Championship match, and if Johnny Gargano was going to find a new tag team partner. People were throwing dream names out there that they could go out there and wrestle with. But yet they found out that they were able to go, and they were going to go out there and they were going to fight. They were going to do what the tag team name do it yourself, which is what DIY stood for. And he even talks about how him and Johnny Gargano were friends for years. And he said they went out there and they tore the house down. And he says that he admits that he took a bad bump. Well, he doesn't say bump, but he took a bad fall and his knee just shattered. And he knew that he was going to be going away for a long time. but Tommaso Ciampa still continued fighting, just because that's what we do. And they gave all the fight for the team and the fans, but it just wasn't enough to get the job done. They didn't walk away with the NXT Tag Team Championships. So then Tommaso Ciampa talks about how he knew that when they looked over that he was going to be going away for a long time, and that there was going to be a possibility that Johnny Gargano wasn't going to hesitate to find a new tag team partner or to find somebody else. So he wanted to make sure that if Tommaso Ciampa was going away for a long time, that Johnny Gargano was going to go away for a long time. And even before he says all this stuff, he even calls out Johnny Gargano. He's like, he ain't coming. He's not coming out here because I laid waste to him. And he blames, he said that DIY, they were, they were a great tag team. They had something special. They were great friends for years. But the fans and Johnny Gargano ruined DIY. He didn't ruin DIY. Or hashtag DIY, I should be saying. Tommaso Ciampa talks about how he didn't want to feel replaced, which I think makes sense. So then he continues talking though, and he says that him and Johnny Gargano had talked about for the past 2 years that they were going to finally get their moment in NXT. And they finally got that at NXT TakeOver Toronto when they won the NXT Tag Team Championships. But he says that wasn't their moment. That wasn't the fans' moment. That was my moment. That was when I finally arrived. And then he says that he doesn't like the fans anymore. And he says that he's not going to come out here and talk about how he's going to go soul searching. That when he comes back to NXT, he's going to be the biggest badass psycho killing son of a bitch out there. And then he drops the mic and leaves. And I thought he cut a fantastic promo here. Everything that he said actually kind of makes sense. I did, because so the knee injury actually ended up working to his favor. I don't know if they were planning on breaking up hashtag DIY if Tommaso Ciampa didn't get hurt. But they did it. It makes sense. I think Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, I can't wait to see their feud. And it's kind of a shame they're not going to be able to dive right into it. But then again, maybe it's a good idea just because of the fact that I expect them to have a match in NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. So that would be like the big, I don't know if it'll be the blow-off match, but that would be like the big match. That's when they'll have the first like big match together. And it's still June. We still have like a couple of months to get there. So I think it makes sense to wait on it. Plus, Tommaso Ciampa's really hurt anyway, so this kind of gives him a chance to take a break. So I like it, and I can't wait to see this feud really get into action. And I thought Tommaso Ciampa cut a great promo. He got tremendous amount of heat. Everybody was chanting, "You suck," at him. When he even cut his promo, how he wasn't going to be thought of as an afterthought. Everybody chanted afterthought at him. So overall, this was, I thought, a fantastic promo segment. And I think it makes sense, A lot of people don't seem to be happy that they broke up hashtag DIY, but as I talked about in my NXT TakeOver Chicago review itself, they did everything that they could do as a team. There was really nothing else for them left to accomplish. It does suck that the fact that now the tag team division doesn't really have a lot of teams, but there was really nothing else that they could do together as a team. So I personally am okay with it. If they had built up other tag teams, I'd be extremely okay with it, but I am 50-50 on it. But like I said, let's see them build up other tag teams first. So overall, I thought this was a great promo, though. Great way to launch off that feud. Because I can't wait to see, once this feud, I think, gets into motion, I think the feud will be fantastic. We'll have fantastic promos. It doesn't seem like they're going to bring up the fact that they've wrestled before in the Cruiserweight Classics. which I guess is fine, but I kind of wish they would bring that up. Maybe they will, so we're going to have to wait and see. Because that's, I think, when people kind of saw that they were going to probably turn on each other, because it was kind of building up to that point. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Okay, so next we had a video package for Danny Birch. He talks about how he's from the UK, how he's been wrestling for years, and how he felt like that this was what he was put on this planet to do, and how what else? How he's used to be a great ballroom fighter, and he says that he's not here just to be here; he's here to make an impact. So I like this video package. It gave us an introduction to Danny Birch, but Danny Birch has been in NXT, I think, since its inception. So I think it was great. Now that the United Kingdom Championship has their own thing, I hope that now he can finally start to go somewhere in NXT, because I think he has some potential. So, but we're gonna have to wait and see. But overall, good video package here. Okay, so next it shows a video from Bobby Roode earlier today. Sorry, I'm all covered. I'm just eating lunch. But he says that last week he promised an NXT Championship celebration, but I never said you guys were invited, which makes him look like a good heel. Now maybe they couldn't have the celebration because they couldn't fit it into the show, but I have a feeling it was because they wanted to get him some heel heat. But he says that he'll be back in NXT next week, and NXT will be glorious. And he says that, now if you excuse me, I got some important people to meet. So I thought this was a good promo by Roode. It was solid. And I can't wait to see what he does in NXT on the next episode. Okay, so we had the first actual match on the show. It was Danny Birch versus Pete Dunn. And this was a great opening matchup. Well, actually, probably a really good opening matchup. I really enjoyed it. I did not expect this match to be as good as it was, but it was. They both start chain wrestling each other. Pete Dunn separates the fingers of Danny Birch, which I thought was great. So then Danny Birch gets revenge on him by separating his fingers, which I love that he did that, because Pete Dunn does it to everybody else and was really unexpected too. Then eventually Pete Dunn hits a forearm on Danny Birch, and he pretty much dominates the rest of the matchup for a while. And just beats the crap out of Danny Birch, but then Danny Birch makes a comeback. He hits a drop kick from the top turnbuckle, a missile drop kick, I should say, too. Then he starts to make his comeback, and eventually he hits a couple of clotheslines in the corner. Pete Dunn eventually cuts him off. He hits a Enziguri into the X-Plex, but Danny Birch kicks out of it, and then Danny Birch hits a big right hand right to the side of the face, and Pete Dunn kicks out of it. He hits Pete Dunn hits an Enziguri on him. Danny Birch ends up hitting a wicked clothesline on him. They both get to their feet. Pete Dunn goes for the bitter end, but Birch turns it into a crossface. But Pete Dunn's able to get to the ropes, and then Danny Birch goes for a running drop kick. Actually, no, is that what happens next? Yeah, and Pete Dunn counters into a German suplex into the turnbuckles, and then he hits the bitter end for the win. Overall, this was a really good match. I didn't expect this match to be as good as it was. I expected this to be like somewhat of a squash, but this ended up being a really good match. That there was points you would have thought that Danny Birch was gonna win, even though you knew he wasn't gonna win. But you get what I'm trying to say. And then afterwards, Pete Dunn cuts a promo talking about how since January he's had to watch some little boy walk around with his championship that rightfully belonged to him, and then at NXT TakeOver, he took what was rightfully his, and he says that that now the fans are going to remember that the UK Championship brand and everything that came with it will be remembered once he became champion. I thought he cut a great promo, and I really it still seems like they're going to go with the United Kingdom Championship weekly show, and I really can't wait for that to happen, because every time, at least Pete Dunn, but every time one of them gets in the ring, it's just really exciting. and I can't wait to see the weekly show. If they, I hope it's not one of those things that they keep promising and it doesn't happen, because that would be kind of sad. But I think I don't know if you necessarily need to do a United Kingdom weekly show, just because of the fact that having it in NXT I think is fine too, just because it's actually starting to go somewhere that way. It gives NXT that mid-card championship that we've always wanted. So I don't know how they're going to do that. Would they still appear on NXT? I would still like to see them have NXT special matches. And I really want to have that rematch with Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne in the main event of an NXT. That would be cool. But we're going to have to wait and see. But overall, really good match. And I thought Pete Dunne cut a good promo afterwards. Okay, next. Kayla Braxton interviews the Velveteen Dream. And he won't do the interview because the lighting isn't right. And, he's like, maybe it works for you, but it doesn't work for somebody like me. And then he, says, but maybe if you fix all that stuff, maybe this can happen. I guess he's trying to flirt with her. I don't know. I thought the whole gimmick was that he was supposed to be gay, but it looks like he's like a fashionista or something. I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be now. Because he's hitting on a woman, and if you're gay, you will, a male, that doesn't happen. Unless he's bisexual. This gimmick's terrible. I'm just going to give this 2 months, and I don't expect it to be good in 2 months, but once that 2 months happens, he'll job him out. So hopefully that happens, because he's just, it's not that the guy that, it's not that Velveteen Dream's terrible, it's just you're asking him to do a lot with this gimmick. Maybe he can get this gimmick over, but at the moment it's just not working for me. Okay, so next it shows a video package for the Authors of Pain, and Paul Ellerin's talking about the Book of Pain and how it took out all of the top tag teams in NXT, and how they won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classics and everything. And then he talks about each member of the tag team. He talks about how Akam was meant to fight for survival, and that's all he's ever known, and how Rezal is just a dominant monster who's risen from hell. I like that he actually kind of went through and broke down each member of the team. And he says that the Book of Pain has been closed, and now the Book of Dominance will be opened, which I thought that was great. They did everything. They pretty much did everything that they had set to do in the Book of Pain. Now they're going to open up a new book, give the Authors of Pain more purpose, and now I expect them to just run right through every tag team now in NXT, and hopefully they become the longest reigning NXT Tag Team Champions, because I think that would actually make them a legitimate dominant tag team, but we're going to have to wait and see. So overall, I thought this was a great video package. Okay, so next match was Andrade Cien Almas versus Cesar Bononi, I think his name was. And Andrade Cien Almas dominates this match. He hits a wicked drop kick, a double knees to the face, and he beats the crap out of Cesar Bononi. He gets very little offense in. He hits a backbreaker into the neck breaker, and then he acts like he's going to do the double knees. He slaps him in the face. Then he goes for a suplex, and Cesar Bononi rolls him up for the win, and then that was it. And Andrade Cien Almas acts like he's all pissed off. And then he just shakes it off because he doesn't take wrestling seriously. Boo! I hate the storyline they're doing. Andrade Cien Almas not taking wrestling seriously, shaking it off. What it's probably going to lead to is he's going to get told that if you don't start taking your career seriously, you're fired or something. Stupid. Cesar Bononi is a big dude, though. I didn't mind that. The match was hard hitting, but it was just yeah. Why? It all felt very whatever. It was just whatever. Let's just move on to the next thing. And again, Nigel McGuinness. Stop calling Andrade Cien Almas by his Ring of Honor name. You're not in Ring of Honor. You're in NXT. He only does it when doing an Andrade Cien Almas match too. He doesn't do it doing anybody else. It's only doing an Andrade Cien Almas match. It's really kind of weird. But anyhow, yeah, all of this was whatever. I was actually surprised Cesar Bononi won the match. But I guess because of the storyline they're trying to tell with Andrade, Cien Almas, I should probably should have seen it coming. Okay, so next, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce filming a video talking about how great they are, and Ember Moon walks by. This was all in the trainer's room, by the way, and they want it restarted because they ruined it. They talk shit to her, and then one of the medical staff come over and says, "Hey, can you please sign this? It's pretty much a form that allows her to compete again," and she signs it. And then everybody's all, and then Billy Kay and Peyton Royce are too afraid to talk shit to her. But I'm excited about this. Ember Moon, I'm happy that she's coming back, and now it's time for her to win the NXT Women's title, probably by NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, that's about it. I thought all of this was solid stuff. It wasn't bad. Okay, so next, Caleb Braxton tries to interview Hideo Itami. This was all filmed at NXT TakeOver Chicago. And he doesn't say anything. He's all pissed. He walks into the locker room where he sees Cassius Ohno, Orny Lorcan, some other trainer guy, and Funaki. It was nice to see Funaki backstage. And he's pissed. He's throwing stuff around. Cassius Ohno's trying to calm him down. He's like, "Hey, I've been there before. I get it." He tips over, like he knocks over a bunch of waters that were on a table back there. And he's just going off. He's swearing. They bleep it out, obviously, at Cassius Ohno. And he tips over a couple of tables. But he's just pissed off. And I like this because it actually showed that Hideo Itami, it showed how pissed off he was. I like that they had him they did swear it. NXT's kind of getting a little bit more edgier, kind of, which I don't mind personally. They're doing a lot of extreme stuff, like putting people through tables now, putting people through ladders. They're having, like, Tommaso Ciampa come out and say son of a bitch. They're doing this stuff. I kind of like the change that NXT is going. I think it's really good. I'm not saying I want this all the time, but it's nice because it makes sense. Why would Hideo Itami not swear? Because when you're pissed off like that, you would swear. It's realistic. So I did like this. And then afterwards, it shows earlier today Hideo Itami and Cassius Ohno making up and shaking hands. Probably you would assume what the conversation. Obviously, it's probably Hideo Itami apologizing, saying he just lost his cool. And then Cassius Ohno accepted his apology. You didn't really need to hear the conversation. And afterwards, it announces that on the next episode of NXT, it's going to be Hideo Itami versus Orny Lorcan. So, yeah, I'm questioning what they're doing with Hideo Itami. I feel like they're going to turn him heel, which I think would make sense. Because, he just had this big loss for the NXT Championship. And you have more main eventers on the face side than the heel side. I think Hideo Itami would actually fit well as a heel. And he's probably going to feud with Cassius Ohno. It gives Cassius Ohno something to do. I actually wouldn't be shocked if he interfered in this, because he's about to have a match. If he interfered in that match and cost him the victory, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But overall, I like the stuff they did with Hideo Itami on this show. Okay, so then we had the main event. It was a tag team match. It was Eric Young and Alexander Wolf with Killian Dane ringside versus Roderick Strong and Cassius Ohno. I thought this was a good tag team match here. Roderick Strong dominates the first half of the matchup. Him and Eric Young started off. They start fighting with each other. Roderick Strong hits a backbreaker on Young. And then eventually he tags in Cassius Ohno. They hit some nice tag team moves together on Young and Wolf. And eventually, behind the referee's back, Cassius Ohno's taking out everybody. Killian Dane interferes and he pulls Killian Dane's leg, and it ends up, not Killian Dane, Cassius Ohno's leg, and he ends up landing face first into the apron. And the heels get the heat on Cassius Ohno for a while. Alexander Wolf hits a pump kick on him. Eric Young, they hit it. Alexander Wolf hits a gutbuster, and Eric Young hits a axe handle, like right to the back of the neck, right off the second turnbuckle. And they just hit some cool tag team moves together. Alexander Wolf hits a pump kick. I think I've already said that, but whatever. Eventually, Cassius Ohno is able to hit a pump knee strike, and he gets the tag on Roderick Strong. He starts going off on Alexander Wolf. He hits an Olympic slam on him, and he hits a backbreak, like the face first move that he hit at NXT TakeOver Chicago, and he tries to cover him, but Alexander Wolf gets his foot on the ropes, and then eventually Eric Young gets tagged in. He hits a neck breaker on Strong, covers him. Strong kicks out, and then Alexander Wolf tries to come in and hit the pump kick on Strong while Young's holding him back, but Cassius Ohno comes in and hits the pump knee strike, and then he asks Killian Dane to take a cheap shot, and No Way Jose returns. This is the first time we had seen him since WrestleMania Fan Access when he was attacked by Sanity. So he returned here. I thought that this was actually a nice surprise, and he throws Killian Dane into the turnbuckle, into the steel post, and then Cassius Ohno hits the rolling elbow on Wolf, and then Roderick Strong hits the end of Heartache, which is the suplex into the backbreaker on Eric Young for the win. And afterwards, Young, Cassius Ohno, and No Way Jose escape. And that was it. I like the main event here. I thought this was a good main event. I was kind of confused. I expected Sanity to get their win back since Roderick Strong took them all out 3-on-1. But at least Cassius Ohno and Strong didn't make him look stupid. You had No Way Jose return here and cost him the match. I do expect Sanity to get some sort of revenge on him because I think Sanity needs to get some momentum back because they kind of lost some momentum from NXT TakeOver Chicago, and they just haven't been really winning a lot of matches lately. From May 31st, so I think they need to get some momentum back. I expect them at on an episode of NXT it's going to be like Dane, Wolf, and Young versus Cassius Ohno, No Way Jose, and maybe Roderick Strong, or somebody else if they have Strong in the number 1 contenders position by then to beat him in a 6-man tag to help really get the win back. And then Sanity will kind of be like a dominant factor because they're still pretty dominant. They haven't done too much damage to him yet, but they need to start. But they're kind of starting to lose momentum, so they need to kind of get their momentum back. But overall, I like the tag team match here, and I like the fact that No Way Jose returned. He actually got a pretty good reaction. I remembered him, but I forgot he had been attacked because it's been a while since we've seen him and stuff, and I was doing a lot of stuff like with the Texas trip and stuff, so I'm happy to see No Way Jose back. It doesn't feel like he's been gone all that long though, but whatever. But overall, good main event here. Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys my overall thoughts and star ratings for each match. I'm going to start off with the star ratings for the Pete Dunn Danny Birch match. I'm probably going to give that match 3.5 stars. I just thought it was a really good match with both men throwing everything that they could at each other, really showing the United Kingdom Championship division. For the Andrade Cien Almas, Cesaro Bononi, or whatever his name was, I'm probably going to give that match 2 stars. It was just whatever, nothing special about it. And then for the main event, the tag team match, I'm probably going to rate that match probably 3 stars. I thought it was a good tag match with a good finish. So overall, those are my star ratings. I'll leave those down in the description box down below. As for my overall thoughts on the show, I actually thought this was a great show here. I thought this was a good this was a good follow-up to what happened at NXT TakeOver Chicago. You set up a lot of feuds. I like Tommaso Ciampa's promo about why he turned on Johnny Gargano. And I hope he's not going to be out too long because I really would like. I expect him to come back maybe by NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, like I said, and face Johnny Gargano. All the matches on the show I thought delivered except for the Andrade Cien Almas Bononi match. And what else was good on this show? I liked Ember Moon returning. That was pretty cool. You know, the way she returned too. And it looks like until you know, because they're doing a triple threat match. They actually did it on this week's episode of NXT between Asuka, Nikki Cross, and Ruby Riott in a triple threat elimination. So probably once that match, whoever wins that, probably when Asuka wins that match, she'll be inserted into a feud with Asuka. But they probably don't want to jump right into it because I think they're holding that off until NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. I think they're trying to hold that off until then because they still have like 2 months. So I expect probably an Ember Moon a feud with Billie Kay and Peyton Royce up until that happens. I kind of would like to see Asuka and Ember Moon team up together to face them. That would be really cool, actually. But yeah, so I liked Ember Moon return, and that was cool. Yeah, well, even though she, like finding out she can actually wrestle and stuff now. What else did I like on the show? There's something else I liked on the show. Bobby Roode's promo I thought was very good on the show. I thought he delivered with that. The only things I really didn't like was the Andrade Cien almost. It wasn't that I hated it, it was just there. And then obviously I didn't like the Velveteen Dream. But you know, I thought they did a good job pushing future storylines. It seems like they want to push a storyline between Hideo and Tommy. I thought they did a good job setting that up. So overall, I thought NXT was a good show this week. If I had to rate it, I'll probably rate it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a good show. I thought at least everything delivered the way it should have. And it was a good show. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. You can like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to tell everybody about the YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to my CM Brothers and the Talkinator channel because I plan on trying to get some videos up on there tomorrow. And then make sure to subscribe to my Wrestling Fortune 44 channel, which is this channel, because I forgot what channel I was recorded on for a second there. Well, I will have future content for you, and that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.